This is the process of how I made Dying World Chapter 2. This project started on May 25th, 2023, following the completion of the first chapter. This final draft of the script was around 12 pages long, with an added 13th page later on in the process. For a few months after writing the script, I actually took a break from this project to work on the second Darth Vader episode. On November 18th of 2023, I picked the project back up and began shooting the first scene. This was the scene inside of the police station and was relatively easy to shoot since it's just a dialogue scene. I chose this scene to start with intentionally because I had just moved into a new house and working on an easy scene like this was best. There's lots of small visual effects hidden in this scene, such as the computer screen and some reflections on the back wall that I removed digitally. Since it was getting close to Christmas time, I decided to use this set in my Star Wars Christmas special as well. In December of 2024, I started working on the second scene. This was the exterior of the police station, where Darren arrives and also has a conversation outside later. This was another relatively short scene and also did not take long to film. In this scene, there's several blue screen and visual effects shots, such as the background in this shot and the road in this motorcycle shot. On January 19th of 2024, I started on the fourth scene of this movie, which was the attack on the British research facility. Because of the complex action sequence, this one did take quite a while, but it was easily my favorite to film. If I remember correctly, it took roughly a month to complete this scene. Even though the animation itself was fun to do, the editing and color grading process is a much different story. I really wanted to give this scene the feel of a cloudy, gloomy day, but with the way I filmed it, the colors were way too vibrant and bright, so I needed to really tone those down to make it feel how I wanted it to. There's a lot of visual effects in this part, primarily the gunshots and explosions, things like that, but there's also some blue screen in the backgrounds of the shots that had to be replaced. By February of 2024, I started working on everything that was needed for the interior of the base, such as the hallway and the laboratory room. By March of 2024, I had started on the seventh scene, which is the interview between Darren and the client at the police station, so I was definitely filming out of order here. While I animated this part, I actually live streamed it, so it was really fun to be able to show people how I animate and film videos while doing it live. I was very fortunate and was actually able to have Jim Jam Films himself play a character for this scene, so that was super fun. By the end of March, I had started working on the scene that takes place in the White House, the big meeting between all of the different council members and the president, which is a result of some events that happened in Chapter 1. I really like the way the lighting turned out in this scene. Building the sets for these scenes are always super fun. I love adding little details and Easter eggs in the background, and overall this set was pretty easy to build. It's just a few walls and a big table. I was also fortunate enough to have Top Trooper Productions play a character in this scene, and it was another super fun collaboration. On April 6th of 2024, I started on a scene that was not in the original script. Like I mentioned before, there was a page that was added in later in production, and that was all of the stuff in this scene. This part took place in a big city, therefore I had to construct a very large chunk of the city, which took several hours. I spent a long time putting all these little details and Easter eggs in the background, and I think it turned out great in the final product. I'm still not entirely happy with how I lit the scene, but that's okay. This is easily the most visual effects heavy sequence I have ever made. There's tons of explosions and debris, and it took a long time to put all this together. Especially in these large-scale city destruction shots, it took a very, very long time to composite all of the different layers together. With all these different segments animated, I was getting closer and closer to finishing the video, but there's still one more scene that I needed that I actually filmed a long time ago. Back in March of 2023, a year ago, I had filmed this sequence where Darren wakes up in his apartment and checks his laptop where he sees the notifications from the client. Now, I ended up cutting this scene from Chapter 1 because I just felt that it fit better in the second chapter. Even though it was removed from the final cut from the first episode, it is still teased in the credits scene, alluding to the events that will happen in this one. Being able to finally use this scene in a movie was very satisfying after it had just sat there and not been seen for a year. Overall, I absolutely loved making this project, and it's my second longest video I've ever made. I'm super happy I could work with all the voice actors that I did. Thanks for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed this behind the scenes look at how I make my videos.